I guess it makes a little more sense, you know. It's like if you're a normal person, just like you just play PlayStation and you buy your games and you like just want to use the online, then like PlayStation Plus Essential like makes sense. But then like I get how people who want more than that and are really like serious fanboys of PlayStation see like PlayStation Plus Extra and Platinum are like kind of weird because Extra to me isn't worth it at the end of the day. It's like Essential, I get it. Extra just straight up isn't worth it, and then the Platinum, which is the final tier, is the one that's like, yeah, you might as well just go with this from rip.
The essential is literally just like you get the baseline of the now, which is the 2 monthly downloadable games, the discounts, cloud storage,
It's
and
just
then
exactly what PlayStation Plus is right now.
yeah,
The,
yeah.
the thing that I think is taken away from all these things, though, is how PlayStation Plus is kind of structured currently. Like right now, sure, you get those uh, two free PlayStation games, but if I remember correctly, on the PS5, it was supposed to be a number of PlayStation exclusives from the PS4 that you were supposed to be able to play on PS5 for free, and changing up the system to something like this from that does take away those games to a certain extent.
Does it? Do we know if that like affects
I
it or not?
I
I
don't
mean,
because I don't think it
with the
does
way
though
it's
because
structured, if you read all this, the way it's structured, that's yeah, literally that.
well it said
Because
well hold on, it says okay, so it says where's the asterisk offers cloud streaming access to original PlayStation, PS2, PSP, and PS4 games offered in the extra and premium tier markets where PlayStation Now is currently available.
Yeah. So what you're talking about now is an incorporation of PlayStation Now into the PlayStation experience. Like you still have one that's PlayStation Plus Essentials that gives you basically what PlayStation Plus originally was. And I don't think it says there are no changes for existing PlayStation Plus members in this tier. So, like, if you had PlayStation Plus before, which was the $9.99 package, and you want to continue doing that, then you get all the things that you had previously. You don't lose anything. They've just added an additional tier to it. So, like, yeah, at no point do they say, "Hey, we're taking this away from you." Now, it's Sony; they might do that in the process. You know
Well,
what I mean?
I was gonna say, like, that's not to say that, like, over time, titles won't be taken away and new titles will be added for better or worse, but at least from their wording, it doesn't sound like that's their intention at the moment.
Yeah, with the three different tiers, it's an option, and it's always nice to have the option. You can continue to have what you've always had for the same exact price that you've had it before. You can get additional things, or you can get additional things on top of additional things. I don't really see like PlayStation Now always felt like such a separate feature, and for having a way to incorporate it in there, especially if they're going to be adding in PlayStation 1 games, PlayStation 2 games, and PS3 games, is going to be fun to have, man.
Looking at this, I gotta say, like, what I from understood from the previous time, the most expensive membership that you could go with was actually more money than the premium is now. So they actually reduced the price of the of what the premium used to be, and then just created a two smaller tiers. The fact is that, like, if they had bumped up the price of the top tier one over $20, and I'd be like, okay, that's a real dick move. But they did lower it, and they just gave two alternative pay options that are definitely probably lackluster comparative to the premium, but it's still there. But more importantly than that, my big thing is that it's all coming to the PC.
Yeah, that's pretty big. While I do want to talk about the PC aspect of it, I kind of want to at first kind of guide this towards the actual like cost rate for a second, which is understanding that one, PlayStation Now initially when it came out, I believe was $19.99 by itself. Then they dropped it down to $9.99. So if you were talking about a standard $9.99 PlayStation Plus and a $9.99 PlayStation Now, that's $20 a month, which is already higher than what you're paying for with the premium package with the PlayStation Plus. So I think the big thing was they wanted a way to be able to compete with Xbox Game Pass as well as get into the PC market. Also, I don't think PS Now was getting used at the rate that they would have liked it to have been used. In order to
I mean,
just
but that's kind of their fault if we're being real, though.
for sure, but they're not punishing the player at all. they're actually giving you more incentive to do it. Hey, it's
Well,
cheaper.
at no
It's cheaper.
point that I think this like stuff is a punishment on the player. I'm like I said, I'm 50-50 on it because like I see how some people could whine and groan on this, but I do think that this makes more sense. You know.
Mhm. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. And then, like Willie, I know you want to get into the PC aspect of it. Like,
But like that's the whole thing. The PC aspect about this is like really vague. Like they said that it'd be accessible with PC, and I like looked back into it, and it's like PC for them might just mean remote play from your computer, which means like your console still has to be on and running. You just are remote playing it from your PC screen, which is like that's fine and dandy,
So
but
I
that's not.
actually did look into
I
this,
don't,
though.
I don't think so.
I looked into this. So apparently, this service, this service does exist already, and it is effectively remote play. But my understanding, and again, this could definitely be wrong. It's going to have to depend on what they actually, showcase once it all hits the market. But was that, um, it literally is like you link the accounts between the two of them, and then because it's all in the cloud, it literally just is like it's literally just a game pass, like it's a PS Plus Pass,
Yeah.
PlayStation Pass kind of
And like,
thing.
and I'm looking at the words that are missing here. So if this was say going to be something like just remote play, then the keyword that's missing here is mobile, because it says customers can stream games using PS4 and PS5 consoles and PC. Keep in mind that mobile is not mentioned there, even though if it was just cloud-based services using PlayStation the remote play, then we would have seen mobile be mentioned here. The fact that it's specifying PC specifically, I think, is saying that this is going to be something that they build for PCs.
Yeah, I'm hoping. Hey, man, I'm really hoping that's the wave that they're gonna go.
Oh, definitely. I think it would be silly for them to not do that, seeing as how they're going to have to compete with the Game Pass.
We're still talking about Sony here, though.
When Microsoft bought Activision, you had said that the smartest thing that Sony could do right now would be to not drop, but reshift basically reshift now that the console wars are effectively ending, and just be competitive on all markets. And the best thing that they could do would be to release what is effectively, it sounds like they are releasing, which is a PlayStation Game Pass for the PC. And quite honestly, not that they were actually probably watching, but like at the same time, it seems like that is the genuine direction, because honestly, I don't know of any other way in which that would benefit them. If they keep it as a remote play as it is right now, it's going to get the same amount of attention and love that remote play is getting right now, which is none, because everybody fucking hates remote play because it doesn't actually work all that well. It's a cool concept, but the networking of it just does not allow for a streamless and seamless play experience. But because all of these games are cloud-based now, if they just change the coding of it so that it can, not just, but you know what I mean, like if they make the change to be playable on the PC, that is actually going to be what sets off the entire, but they're going to have an entire new market of people who may have dropped PlayStation when it was on 2, or just the original PlayStation and got a PC and just fell in love with that. It only makes sense for them to go in that path. Is it possible for them to still be stupid about it? Yes, because it's Sony and it's a gaming company, and for some reason everybody chooses to just go the stupidest route possible. But I don't know. It seems so incredibly why would you do that? That it doesn't even seem like that's their plan.
No, the more that we talk about it, the more I just see how impossibly stupid it would be for it to be a remote play type of thing, because you're already talking about PlayStation Now, which is a cloud-based streaming service, on top of using remote play, which is another. You're still streaming, so you're doing a stream on top of a stream. Like your games would chug. I don't care if you're running on really good Wi-Fi, your games would chug like.
No, dude, even Ethernet wise, it just doesn't work out. I have my PlayStation and my PC all on the same connected in the exact same router. And when I say that, it's still a chuggy experience, it's still, there's too much relying on things being sent through the internet and then being brought back into the experience. It's just
Yeah.
Man, I
So-
just hated the large feeling of the delay. Honestly, it wasn't
Yes.
even just about the actual frame rate which it moves, and like you could tell the servers are like, what is going on here? You guys servers suck with this. Like,
Now,
Yeah.
that actually brings up a very good point, though, which is that given how lackluster the server responses were and how lackluster remote play is, does Sony know how to build that proper cloud service? How is that going to look when it's implemented? Even if that is their intention, is the app is it going to be like a 10 out of 10 idea, 3 out of 10 execution kind of thing, or?
Sony, by and large, has the worst out of the two network experiences on the console, and I think that their limitation on internet speed is really going to hold them back, especially if you're talking about if they're trying to incorporate this on the PS4 heavily. The PS5 does do a little bit better in that category. And overall, I think that they're really going to have to look at downloading as the main option for people instead of using this like cloud-based, strictly streaming-based service, which doesn't even work properly to begin with. If you look at it like this, their Twitch services are trash. Their share play was trash when it came out. Remote play has issues. PlayStation Now has issues, all of which were network-based, had really nothing to do with the actual like product itself. It was just that the network could not handle that type of stuff. And overall, I think that it would be silly of them if they did not allow direct downloading for all their products.
welcome to my concept video.
Oh my god. Apparently this is turning into Ghostwire suddenly.
Hello, this is my Kingdom Hearts 4 fan fiction.
So a faithful, rightful place. What are we watching? Soul Eater now?
That Luminous engine looking real luminous. Also, somebody said Sora has finally reached Final Fantasy protagonist status.
Yeah. I mean, look at him. Yeah, he finally made it. I wonder how much of this game is going to be influenced by Disney. I'm actually hoping very little.
I gotta say, everything's looking really good.
This looks like Final Fantasy. I'm talking about more in style. Like, this looks like Final Fantasy to me. Like, this looks like a lot of the Disney aspects have been, like, pulled out.
Closer to reality than perhaps traditionally.
Let me take a selfie here.
Oh god, Keyblade!
All right, so let's dig right into not just what we saw, but what we think. Kingdom Hearts 4 has officially come out with some trailers, some quote-unquote gameplay footage, and I guess we'll dive into the topic of debate that I know me and Malik are probably the most curious about, is the suggested release date that we think this game is going to come out in. Malik, why don't you go ahead and kick us off with that, bro?
I'm just going to be absurd. 2026. Yeah.
No, but so looking at what we saw, like, to be honest with you, I'm thinking probably more along the lines of 2023, late 2023 into 2024. I will go ahead and say mid 2024, only because of the fact that we do have some like what looks to be some actual like visuals and gameplay. I know when Kingdom Hearts really doesn't announce anything or show anything until they have stuff well into development.
Did they give a time? Did they give like a spring quarter anything of year wise, or no? Just like saying, hey, this is something that's being worked on. Okay.
This is an announcement trailer. Like, I mean, again, time zone wise, if I'm being serious, 2024, like, you're not getting this game before 2024. I mean, they still got, like I keep trying to like put up there, they still have 16 and 7 remake. And I don't see either 7 remake or 16 coming out this year. Like, neither of those games are coming out until next year, because I'm pretty sure they don't want them to like trip over each other. My thing is about which one's going to be sooner. And honestly, 16 might come out before the remake does.
I think that Final Fantasy 16, because it's definitely going to be the first one that comes out.
Yeah.
I think then it's going to be followed by Kingdom Hearts 4, and then it's going to be followed by Final Fantasy 7 remake. Only because we have not seen any footage of Final Fantasy 7 remake. We only know that it's coming out. We have not developers have not said the game is in development. We haven't seen any footage of it. And there's another thing that you got to keep in mind here was that Kingdom Hearts 4 was pretty much directly set up by Kingdom Hearts 3 in a way like how Kingdom Hearts 2 was by Kingdom Hearts 1. I forget the actual range that it took or how many years it was between Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, but it wasn't that long. They came out on the same system and they came out pretty much, I think it was like 2 or 3 years after the fact. So it immediately went into development. Kingdom Hearts 3 to me felt so deliberately cliffhangery that I believe that Kingdom Hearts 4 was already ready to go. Not ready to ship out, but it was already like in the works before Kingdom Hearts 3 had even left the shelves. They set you up with that Master of Masters BS at the end where you had to have played Union Cross, and it was like, oh, don't worry, it's all going to be explained in the next game. It was too sequential, versus every other Kingdom Hearts game had felt like it had like a form of finality to it. It was too sequential.
I got a question. Can you go back a little bit, Willie? Just like by like 10 seconds, maybe. Where in the hell do they keep getting these cloaks from? Like, at this point in Kingdom Hearts, you know what organization this is and stuff. Who is the tailor? Because I feel like if you find him, you end all this. Like, forget about being like, yeah, we gotta combine Kingdom Hearts.
Without these cloaks, they have no unionizing elements among themselves. They all just disband.
Yeah, why don't we just like destroy their tailor and be like, yeah, you're done with the cloaks.
If you just go ahead and cut off their Macy's credit card, I can feel like the deliberateness of Kingdom Hearts 3. And if we could just talk about Kingdom Hearts 3 for a second and how like hollow that game was.
I don't want to. That's why I don't want to talk about Kingdom Hearts 3.
My bigger concern is that Kingdom Hearts 4 is going to be just as hollow as Kingdom Hearts 3 was, which means it would come out way faster because of the fact that you're getting like a pretty crappy game. You know what I mean?
So you think it'll come out faster because it just might not be as good. Like the story is gonna end up being as hollow. I'm hoping not. That was part of the reason why I was saying I hope a lot of the Disney aspect is like gone from this one, because I'm not saying that it's the fault of the Disney stuff that the story is hollow. I'm saying that like with a focus. And like focus more on the I guess Final Fantasy part of Kingdom Hearts, you can actually get to the like meat and potatoes of all these things that are left left wandering. We're saving Kyrie. Did he do that at the end in the
Do we want to get the spoilers here?
Yeah, I mean, what spoilers for this game that's been out for like ever?
All right, so we'll mark this as a spoiler section, by the way.
Yeah, all right. This could be spoilers, I guess, for people who haven't played the game. Like,
you don't know how the internet is.
We'll put a spoiler warning.
All right. Anywho, so at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3's DLC, he saves Kyrie, right? Or because she goes missing.
He saves Kyrie. He gets caught in like the it's not the world that never was. I believe it's called like the Valley of Remembrance or something crazy like that, where it's like the land. Either way, he goes and fights Yozora and then ends up getting trapped in this new world, and nobody knows where he is because his soul was like ripped apart basically from all the time jumping and shit that he was doing. Mm-hmm. So
well, thanks for ruining it, guys. Fuck.
All right, but let's spoiler warning over. Yeah, but so that stuff happens, and I don't know how many more bad Kingdom Hearts games it's going to take for me to stop being a Kingdom Hearts fan. And I'm calling Kingdom Hearts 3 a bad Kingdom Hearts game.
What? So can you explain a little bit more about what you mean by hollow, even if it's just for my sake? Because I'm not like Do you mean like this? Like the story feels like there's holes in it. There's not enough to do outside of the main story. What do you exactly mean by hollow?
The story leading up to Kingdom Hearts 3 is one of like the most convoluted and crazy stories ever. There's corny, there's a whole bunch of things, but one thing they do not feel like is that they are hollow. They feel like they are full experiences that you're getting every single time you buy a Kingdom Hearts mainline title game. By the time we get to Kingdom Hearts 3, there really is no story up until like the very end of the game. And the big problem with that is that they tried to jam all these like MacGuffins in at the end of the game in order to be like, oh, hey, and it all gets wrapped up nice with a neat little bow on it. And then on top of that, they added in another plot element, which was not there, that you would only have seen if you played the mobile games, and then did not finish that part of the story either. So we got a half-assed finish to what was considered the Xehanort Saga, which is Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and 3, in order to just simply set up Kingdom Hearts 4. And the payoff just was not worth it. Like, the ends did not justify the means.
I mean, and I gotta totally agree with that. Like, overall, it wasn't worth it. Playing through the entire game, just not getting any. I feel like they should have spent the entire game, ending all the loose plot points that they had instead of waiting until the end to end some of those plot points. It's like it doesn't really make sense that you did this over this. It just wasn't worth it. Not saying that it wasn't a fun game. It was definitely enjoyable mechanically, and really nice to be Sora while like being OP for once. I mean, like duper OP, but like. I mean, if you're a Kingdom Hearts fan who is looking for like an actual ending to Kingdom Hearts in some type of way, this definitely wasn't what you wanted.
Yeah, I think I understand what you're saying, because they're not the first people to have like all of a sudden crammed every like an entire plot line at the very end of a game to like either because they realized that they fucked up and didn't include it in the beginning or all throughout, or were like at the last second, hey, I have a great idea for the fourth one.
Looking at you, Mass Effect. Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's what we're feeling now. Do you, like, I know, Willie, you probably don't have too much on this, but do you feel, Malik or Willie, that this is going to be more positive or more negative for Kingdom Hearts 4? Forget the timeline.
I think this is going to be more positive. I mean, they have to. They want to start up this whole new saga. They have a real good chance at making some amazing writing go on and really wrap up the story. I mean, I don't really know the direction in which they want to take Kingdom Hearts though. Are they trying to have another series of like 3 games, or 4 being like the beginning of another arc?
This saga, they have actually, I can't remember the name of it because it's in that video we just watched, but they actually named the saga that it's going to be. I think it's like the Forgotten Hero or the Lost Hero saga or something like that. That will be the name of the next saga, which to me seems to implement at least 3 Kingdom Hearts titles. So that would be Kingdom Hearts 4, 5, and 6.
My opinion, like, kind of really shifts. Then this could end up just being as hollow as number 3, just because, it feels like you haven't given me like good enough story writing for Kingdom Hearts to prove to me that you're gonna actually like be solid this time around.
If in the trailer it already seems like they are taking it in this new saga and they are doing new things, I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean that it could be lackluster. It means that there is, I mean, as with the potential for anything, they can always drop the ball, but if it was set up, if that DLC of 3 was used to set up 4 and they plan an entirely new thing, then it could just be that they're like, okay, 3 was kind of lackluster, whatever, but 4, we're going to not only satisfy 3, but also launch an entire new storyline of things that we've thought up.
This is true. I think even though it could be good, and I know fans will get over it pretty quickly, I think a lot of fans are going to be disappointed because the idea of Kingdom Hearts 3 had so much hype around it and so much expectation crammed into it. For you to just completely drop the ball on 3 and then pick it up and get right back with 4, that's kind of like an abusive situation. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think. But overall, so hype level for Kingdom Hearts 4, We'll kick it off. Willie, how you feeling?
I'll give it a solid 7 out of 10.
Kill him slowly. How you feeling?
I'm gonna be honest, probably like a 5 out of 10. Yeah, man. I want 16. That's what I want.
I'm gonna give 6 goofy truth bombs out of 10. Moving on to our next subject, we're going to be talking about our favorite women in gaming in honor of the previous month that just passed, International Women's Month. There are a lot of great video game protagonists out there led by some strong females, and we wanted to talk about them in honor of the previous month that just passed as one of our first YouTube videos that we're putting out there. Starting off with Malik, who is your favorite video game protagonist?
I mean, if we're talking about female gaming protagonists, then we definitely got to be talking about Aloy. I mean, as a Sony fanboy myself, I just gotta give it to her. I mean, I would probably also say the girl from Heavenly Sword, but I feel like people don't. I forget what her name is, and I also feel like people won't necessarily know who I'm talking about. So Aloy is gonna be my pick for this. I honestly think that she's a really genuinely unique character when it comes to the female protagonist space. She's not like things aren't over focused on her being a female in any type of way. It's really just about her story, being an outsider from the village, being an orphan, working her way up. Not really trying to get spoilery if you haven't played the series of Horizon Zero Dawn by this point. But yeah,
as you see on the screen, we're talking about the first lady of fighting games, Chun-Li herself. You know her, you love her, she kicks a lot of butt. Chun-Li to me is representative of inclusion in the fighting game and then in the video game world as a whole. Because before this, we did not have a lot of strong female characters being represented in games. And not only is Chun-Li strong physically, she is also strong mentally. Ironically, never having a boyfriend, was one of the things about her. So she doesn't fall into some of the tropes. Never really being the damsel in distress, even though the Street Fighter 2 movie would have you believe that she was Speaking of which, there's the Street Fighter 2 movie right there. 100% hands, has always been about that life, has always been just one of the coolest characters. And it's a character that I know women do relate to. Not necessarily in the sense of, they can do lightning kicks and shoot fireballs from their hands, but in the sense of just getting out there with the boys in a world and getting it done the way you need to. Listen, everybody from Nicki Minaj to Remy Ma to, I believe, and don't quote me on this, but some presidents have mentioned Chun-Li in some form or fashion. She is that iconic. And overall, just one of the coolest characters I know. She could be on my team any day of the week.
Samus has really and truly been one of the founding women from the get. Her whole thing has been I'm going to take down this crazy ass alien incursion. If anything, she was the 2D platformer of Doom, a Doom equivalent. Going on these one individual army runs of this alien swarms, these horrors and that kind of thing. She's been featured in numerous other fighting games as well. She has an ongoing series to herself that doesn't show any signs of stopping. For the most part, there a 99% success rate of a strong female lead and just having her kick ass and do her own thing. And that's my choice for sure.